Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. We have some great stuff for you today, including a few great videos from Jack the Rippler. We've also got Fred Krueger commenting on Bitcoin and how Larry Fink of BlackRock says that Bitcoin could eventually be as big as the real estate market. Wow. Quite a statement. Stay tuned for that. Let's take a look at pricing, which is still looking very positive. Bitcoin up to 67,511, up over 3% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum also up over 3%, sitting at 2,661. Solana up 2%, sitting at 157. And XRP up slightly, sitting at 0.54. So definitely still moving in the right direction. Could this be the start of the bull run, the actual bull run? Hopefully. Let's start off with some news here from Subjective Views. He says any day now, @Ripple will launch their RLUSD stablecoin that will start to soak up the $2.3 trillion circulating around the world. And this is Yamki Chan from Circle speaking in this video. So some good stuff here in this video. Take a listen from Yamki Chan.
Yes, and let me maybe break down a couple areas. First of all, we're still in very, very early days, right? We're sort of at the dial-up stage, moving towards broadband days of the internet for Web3. There are still many merchants, institutions, and users that don't yet have a Web3 wallet to even interact in that space, in this space. And I think that will get better. So we're still in the early days. So that's number one. So the market dynamics are not set. It's like saying, when you look at the internet, there's only AOL and Mindspring. Like for those of you who are from the US that were, or CompuServe, like those are the two or three, and that there will be no other internet service providers, and that's actually not the case, and it moves and changes very, very quickly. So that's the first piece. The second piece is it's important to put stablecoins and proper stablecoin, like tokenized cash, in the context of what it is, which is the dollars in the world, especially dollars in the world. There's $2.3 trillion circulating in the world. Much of that that's in cash. Right. These are $100 bills in circulation, and M0, and essentially, it makes sense for some of these to be in digital form, and it makes sense for these to be movable on a immutable ledger, and that's really the opportunity set to think about. And if you were to add up the stable coins in dollar at the moment, we're at 160, 170 billion. That is barely a rounding error, right? In the $2.3 trillion worth of dollars in the world. So what that means is that A, is early days, and B, we should expect lots of different companies that are trying to come into and innovate in this space. And we are seeing that. Almost every other week, there's somebody launching a dollar-backed stablecoin or dollar-pegged stablecoin. Whether they're dollar-backed or not, it's a whole other question. Right. But I think everyone wants to figure out, like, how do you move money in the right way? So I think that's to be expected. So that's one. And the second thing is, it's important to separate tokenized cash stablecoins versus tokenized deposits, because again, back to what you referred to, there is fractionalization in deposits that is not the same, at least in the way that USDC is structured. And the counterparty for that are banks, and whether you can use these outside the banking network is still, I think, quite limited at the moment due to a number of reasons. So I think it's important that there'll be innovation in the payments and in currency space, but like what they are, I think is still early.
So he said it there a few times, and if you're watching this video, the fact of the matter is you are early to this industry, and you still have a chance. Even if you don't have the funds to invest today, you still have an opportunity over the next coming years to invest in this space and still be considered early. So kudos to you on that. Let's move on to Jack the Rippler here, who shares a previous video that was shared regarding a payment that happened via XRP. And this was years ago. I don't exactly know when it happened, but it was years ago. And obviously Ripple continues to grow by leaps and bounds. It says video resurfaces of Ripple paying Ellen DeGeneres $4 million in XRP. The XRP ledger is for all the elites of the world. DeFi on XRPL is going to dominate the financial world. So let's take a listen to this brief video from a number of years ago.
Does anyone remember this? Interesting tech company called Ripple that we're going to invest in, right?
Okay, what is Ripple?
So Ripple is basically a platform to allow people to transfer money from bank account to bank account, person to person, really securely, really simply, really quickly. Okay. So we found this company. We thought it was really, really interesting, and it runs on this stuff called XRP, which is a cryptocurrency, but basically it's just a way to get value from here to there. Okay. So we're meeting with these folks, and they're explaining to us the people that run it. This guy Chris Larson and a guy named Brad Garlinghouse, and they run it, and they're talking about the ethic of this company and this platform, and how they actually really care about being an ethical company and giving a portion of this platform away to people that are doing good in the world. On behalf of Ripple, we'd like to give you $4 million.
Does anyone remember this?
Interesting tech company.
$4 million. All she had to, she goes on there to press the button on the phone and make that transaction happen. This gentleman cut that video off, but all she did was press the button and the payment went through. So Ripple was given $4 million back years ago. They're paying $125 million potentially in fines to the SEC. That's been appealed. But certainly they've spent probably over $200 million fighting the SEC in their lawsuit. I would say they're pretty well financed. Anyway, moving on to Ashley Prosper. She says here, FYI, Ripple versus SEC. After the appeal is docketed, the clerk refers to the case to the camp office for the scheduling of a settlement conference. The conference takes place in the camp office or by telephone. Counsel must consult with the client in advance of the conference and obtain as much authority as possible to settle the case. Counsel's appearance at the conference is required, and counsel must be prepared to discuss the legal, factual, and procedural issues in depth. An attorney or client who fails to participate in the conference process in good faith may be sanctioned by the court. So things are moving forward with the SEC
Yes.
appeal, and I'm sure Ashley Prosper and others will keep us posted on that. Moving on to Altcoin Daily here. He says, breaking BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says neither Donald Trump nor Kamala Harris is a factor for crypto price, as we believe Bitcoin is an asset class in itself. So this call was recorded during the BlackRock Q3 earnings conference call. Don't know if it was supposed to be recorded, but certainly it was, and we have this here. Take a listen to this brief discussion.
We believe Bitcoin is an asset class in itself. It is an alternative to other commodities like gold. Well, of course, I'm not sure if either president or other candidate would make a difference. I do believe the utilization of digital assets are going to become more and more of a reality worldwide. Conversations we're having with institutions worldwide, conversations about how should they think about digital assets, what type of asset allocation there should be. I mean, we believe Bitcoin is an asset class in itself. It is an alternative to other commodities like gold. We believe Bitcoin is an asset class.
So Larry Fink says on his company, BlackRock's earnings conference call, that it's an asset class in itself. Listen, if Larry Fink and BlackRock are investing in this, I feel pretty comfortable investing in it as well. He's not gonna. Obviously, he probably has a lot more information than I do. And if he's comfortable investing in it, so am I. Moving on, Fred Krueger here quotes Larry Fink and says, Bitcoin will become as big as the U.S. housing market. That's a quote from Larry Fink. Then Fred Krueger goes on to say, that market is currently 50 trillion. Let's estimate 100 trillion by 2040. That is 76 times Bitcoin's 1.3 current trillion dollar market cap. In other words, Bitcoin is going to 5 million. Source, the most important person in finance on planet Earth. And of course, he is referring to Mr. Larry Fink. So if Mr. Fink thinks that, again, I'm pretty comfortable investing in it. The 100 trillion for the real estate market by 2040, 76 times for Bitcoin's current $1.3 trillion market cap. That's a huge opportunity for Bitcoin as we move into the future. Smoke Dog comes in here, says BRICS has reached an agreement on its new trade system. The new BRICS payment system may be revealed at the upcoming BRICS summit. After all, blockchain-based system. Documents have indicated that this will likely happen. He goes on to highlight a few things here. It says BRICS Pay has adopted ambitious objectives in the areas of financial inclusion and efficiency. BRICS nations seamless and allow transactions in real time through the use of blockchain-based system. It goes on to say the initiative ahead of its potential launch at this year's BRICS Summit in October, with a growing number of cross-border payment arrangements already being settled in local currencies on a bilateral basis. BRICS Pay will likely lead to further fragmentation of the global payment system. This is happening, folks. These countries are going to be using the dollar less and less, and this will eventually have an impact on the dollar. Will XRP be involved in this payment system? Based on everything we're hearing, yes, but it will still mean less use of the US dollar. So we'll see what happens. That BRICS meeting is happening now. I think is over actually. So we're starting to get some news out of it. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and many more countries joining. So it is not a small alliance. Coming in here from Jack the Rippler. He says, at Ripple spokesman confirms private XRP ledger for central bank digital currencies. We are prepared for endless use cases. XRPL DeFi is going to dominate the new economy. You wonder why I am so blush on top DeFi token on XRPL CTF token. Imagine the top DeFi token sitting right now at 90 cents with a market cap of only $10 billion. At token CTF would jump to $374.25 per token. Crazy, but that's what's more crazy is the total supply of only 120 million tokens. The reality is, if CTF token does exactly what Solana did the last bull cycle, keep in mind Solana has 600 million total token supply, we would be at 1,500 per CTF token. This sounds crazy, but it's all about supply and demand. Now, short term, we could be talking massive gains. So again, do your own research. This is from Jack the Rippler. This is his belief, but of course, do your own research. And let's take a listen to this video he has posted with this.
XRP Ledger is, world-leading public blockchain which is built for payments and issuing currencies, so it's a natural fit for CBDCs. We've taken that and basically providing a private version of that for the central banks. Something that's going to be absolutely critical for the success of CBDCs and the adoption of them is the relationship between the public sector and the private sector. As I mentioned earlier, we view that the public sector, the central banks working with the government, will be the designers, the rule setters in terms of policy, and the implementers of the.
So I won't give that all to you. He says the current banks will be the rule setters. But again, do your own research on any token. None of this is financial advice. There's just a lot of news coming out of Ripple and good stuff there. So appreciate you jumping on. I will see you on the flip side.